The New York Knicks defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in an incredible overtime effort last night, winning 115-104. It's 87 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Oh, the conversations we have right before the show begins, talking about baby diapers.
Laura's like, we're starting.
All sorts of stuff. Let's focus.
Ding, ding, ding. Uh-oh.
We
You're
do
on.
have a sports talk radio show to do around these parts. By the way, I will be very distracted throughout today's show because I have not one, not two, but 3 baseball games going on all at once to watch. That's right.
All right.
Hardball heavy for me over here. JU
Beautiful.
takes on North Alabama, 2 p.m. first pitch.
Okay.
So that should be in just a few moments. Florida.
So, Jay, you got in yesterday.
JU, yes.
Oh, they
got
beat
it.
Austin
Trinity
Pay. Was it
Christian
Austin
won.
P. That is
Thank you.
correct.
That's what I
Yep.
meant.
They won 7-1. It wasn't even close.
Nice.
As a matter of fact.
The
Yep.
Dolphins.
And then Vanderbilt beat Kentucky 8-5 in the SEC baseball tournament. So Florida plays Vanderbilt also at 2 o'clock. So monitoring both of those. And then, yes, Trinity Christian, shout out.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
super
great.
excited for them. And look, at the end of the day, we now have Trinity Christian, St. John's Country Day, and Union County all won state titles from this area in
That's
high school
amazing.
baseball.
Heck yeah.
That's right. Round
Love
of
it.
applause.
Love our local
Yeah.
baseball.
And not easy to do. I mean, it's
No,
so
it's
hard.
definitely
Especially
So
if
hard.
ever you go to the FHSAA websites, which I do to keep track of all of this stuff, right? You'll see a lot of like St. Thomas Aquinas and other schools that are from Miami, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
who
yeah,
Trinity
yeah.
Christian beat was True North out of Miami. They won 8-4.
Yep.
So you'll see these schools from much more populated areas. And so I love, that our
Yeah.
teams are battling. And by the way, high school softball, we're just going to do Lawrence Lane right now. Just kidding. We'll save it for later. But University Christian beat Schoolhouse Prep 12-2.
Wow.
All right.
So that one was an easy one. UC will play for the state title tonight against Geneva. Geneva beat Evangelical Christian 16-15.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
hopefully UC can get that one done and bring another state title back to
Dude, we
Jack.
got
That'd be
a lot of
awesome.
talent
I know.
all over the board.
And I will
All
say,
the
too,
sports.
when it comes to those sports like baseball and softball, it's also really difficult because you're used to playing series throughout the year and being able to just having to win one game. That's
Right.
difficult. We had in Major League Baseball when they had the 1-game wild card and everybody hated it,
Right.
like, as in
'Cause
players.
that's not the way
That's not the way you
baseball's
play.
played. Yeah.
It's the best of 2 with 3, and then obviously it starts to expand as the postseason goes on for Major League Baseball. So to tell a baseball player you win this game and you're done, that's not usually they're used to having those 3-game. And we talk about with the Shrimp, it's 6-game series that they're playing every week, and so it is a little bit more. You have to shift your mindset completely when you're heading into the postseason and
Just
baseball
hitting
and
that
softball.
ball. That ball, I mean, they're only 60 feet away. It's not that far. Like when you stand
60
out on the
feet, 6
mound,
inches.
you know what I mean? Yeah, and then you measure it off down a hallway. You're like, holy cow.
Yeah. And it's
then
coming
I know,
at you
like,
70 for the women and
Yeah.
90 for the men.
yeah, exactly.
higher.
Coming
Yeah.
and moving.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
just straight in one straight line. It's all over the place. So it is absolutely incredible sport, especially if you're a good hitter or pitcher. You know, obviously, if you can control a game by pitch, and that must be fun as heck. You know, just you up there on the mound, you got your guys behind you and your catcher, but man, you got to go one-on-one with that batter and vice versa. I tell you, the best advice I'd heard was from our good friend Daniel Murphy, and he was saying how, like, you got to be aggressive at that play. Like, if that
Sure.
ball's anywhere near where you think it's in your zone, you just swing.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because growing up, I was always passive aggressive with the being at the plate. Fastballs didn't bother me. The curves, I couldn't hit a curve for the life of me. That's why I stopped playing baseball after like 14 years of age. It wasn't my thing. But just to be up there, and then you go up in, like the high school, it's unbelievable. Then you get college and move on, and it just gets bigger and faster, and ball movements even more. Like, you almost wonder how they even see the thing coming out of the pitcher's hands.
I wouldn't.
Do
Yeah,
they
me
even
either.
see
I'm
it?
swinging
You
at
know what I mean?
everything.
Yeah, just swing,
They
baby.
threw the ball, so I swung.
But I tell you what, hats off to Jacksonville as a whole, because we have so much athletic talent. The guys, girls, all kinds of sports that come out of Jayville and the surrounding areas. You know, all of North Duval County and Northeast Florida. But it's quite awesome. I don't remember growing. I mean, we had, obviously there were players, outside of Chicago. There were a lot of guys that went and played college and or pro. But I don't recall it being this thick. You know, in all types of sports and on, men's and women's.
Yeah, it would be interesting to track, like even comparing Jacksonville 50 years ago to now, 40 years ago to now, 30 years ago to now, how many state titles in the area were being won then. And look, I feel like Florida as a whole has gotten a lot more populated over the last, 30 years or so, 40 years. So it is just interesting to see the different patterns. But I feel like for any of the kids that, if you make it to a Final Four in your sport, you've had a phenomenal season. Just because you don't win it, we still like to acknowledge the teams that make it that far. For that very reason, that it's a special season and it's one, trust me, you will never forget. You will never forget. And your family will never forget it because they're all going to have, obviously, the ones that can go attend the game and stuff like that. Look, I think Jacksonville is also has also grown. And so we're seeing kind of the influences now of other sports too, like lacrosse. Like, I don't think on our show we have ever talked about lacrosse as much as we did this year.
I actually was at a graduation party and one of the PV lacrosse players was there.
Very cool. Girls or boys?
The boys.
Boys, okay.
Actually, I know his dad, Chris Greco. We went to Boston College, right? So
there's always a BC connection.
It was crazy. It was Nick, but he was telling me about the face-off, like how he had to get really low and because they were tied, and that's how they won the game. They got the face-off, went down and scored. He kind of took me inside. I was like, wow, I never thought of that. Like, I didn't know you guys did that kind of stuff. He's like, I think they changed it. Before it was a certain way, and then you were able to get real close and in on each other and almost kind of hit each other as you go after the ball, I guess. But nonetheless, a great way to win the state championship. That's pretty cool.
Sure. Absolutely. The fact that both Ponte Vedra boys and girls won on the same day, the state title is absolutely insane. Things are, it looks like, just beginning in both of these
Good genes
games.
around here.
Just kidding.
Good genetics.
That's right. So the JU game is just underway, but Florida, it's already the top of the second, and Florida's up 2-0 against Vanderbilt. So life comes at you fast these days.
That's right. Don't blink.
Don't blink. We'll get to a specific Jags topic in the next segment, but the A.J. Brown stuff obviously is everywhere. People wondering if the Jaguars would trade Brian Thomas Jr. for A.J. Brown. I think the three of us would all say keep Brian Thomas Jr. A.J. Brown can go to another team, not because of the talent, but because of the locker room stuff.
Here's the way. Look, A.J. Brown is clearly a extremely talented wide receiver. There's no doubt about that. But the perception of him, from me anyway, watching him over the years, hearing this and that, and seeing different things, he's a great teammate when he's getting the ball and things are good. I think he could be an inspirational type teammate because you'll see how good he is. You'll see how much he produces. You want to duplicate. You want to do the same.
Not a selfless teammate, though. Don't expect to get the ball as much if you're on his team.
If he doesn't get the ball and they're not doing well, then it becomes, he becomes a problem. I mean, he does. He becomes, I don't know if I want to call him a cancer, but he's definitely a diva.
A distraction.
Books, give me a break. And some people gave him credit for reading a book on a sideline during a game. Are you out of your mind?
What would TC have done?
Light it on fire. I would have. Somebody would have. But it's whatever. Listen, the guy's a great talent, but I don't see him as a fit in what they're building here. You know what I mean? That'd really be a U-turn, not a total U-turn, but just a quick turn when you're not thinking. If they went with A.J. Brown. And Brian Thomas, he's too young for me to let go right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad. It'd be hard to be angry that they added somebody like A.J. Brown to the roster, because I do think that automatically your offense could be better and probably would be better because he's proven wide receiver. He's done it now for many years. He's done it with multiple quarterbacks. He's done it with different offensive coordinators. He's one of those type of players, different teams, obviously. And so it wouldn't be like I would be angry that all of a sudden A.J. Brown was playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But to your point, I think it's more so the mentality and kind of the fit when it comes to how his personality is and what he would want. Because what the conversation we have here is the amount of mouths you have to feed. And when you have a team that is like that, it's not just, hey, one star and some other guys. It's a lot of guys that you're counting on when you're talking about Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. And then now you obviously use picks on tight ends, and the run game you're trying is a focal point of what Liam wants to do. So there's so many guys that need the ball. I don't know if that's the type of team that A.J. Brown needs to go to.
Yeah, Liam Cohen wants Trevor Lawrence to have a different threat every single game, a different guy lead the team in receptions each week. And
just while you were talking, I was remember Liam said the offense runs through Brian Thomas. So I don't know if he'd say that today, but would the offense run through A.J. Brown? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
don't know.
that's what I'm saying. I think it
Yeah.
would. I think that would flip things drastically.
Yeah.
But then you would have to lean into that. You would have to, because if not, then you start getting the locker room issues and him arguing with coaches and players and kind of pouting, and that's not the type of personalities that they've obviously liked here and have brought in since being in Jacksonville. Now, it's interesting because we always go back and credit James Gladstone when it comes to Puka Nacua, and all of these Puka issues have come out recently. So there is some issues. It's not like he's only drafted these guys that are perfect locker room guys and do everything, the right way all of the time, 100%. And so is it worth it? If you think that it would be hard to not have the conversation, is this guy going to take our offense to that next level and get us to a Super Bowl? Because ultimately that's the question. And I do think that A.J. Brown would instantly improve your offense. But I do think it would change things to how you would have to focus, how you would have to run your offense. And do they want to do that in year 2?
And if Brian Thomas Jr. is not here, I think that would be also a change of the financial situation, right? Like right now, you already have Jacoby signed. You're talking about signing Parker, but you've got Brian Thomas Jr. on a rookie deal.
And you'd have to pay
A.J. Brown
AJ.
is going to be super expensive.
And what would your draft strategy change? Like would you have drafted the way you drafted if you knew you were going to go get A.J. Brown?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got the 12 and 13. It's 12 and 13.
Yeah.
But what does Diana Rossini think?
What?
Yeah.
RJ, let's call up Diana Rossini and get her
her on the phone.
thoughts. Does she think the Jaguars are a potential landing spot for A.J. Brown? I'm kidding, obviously. But yeah, I do think that Trevor Lawrence right now, I would say this is probably the best group of weapons that he's had since he entered the league. Like Kirk and Ingram were great for him, don't get me wrong. But I think in totality, I think this might be the best group total of weapons.
And with the caveat being, does Brian Thomas get back to his rookie kind of form? Because if so, then
and if he gets close, if he doesn't get to almost 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, if he gets close, but you also have Jacoby and Brenton and Parker all doing what we saw them capable of last year, then this is by far the best group of weapons. Plus, that
he's sort of like a true number one. Like he
but to Taylor's point, Liam Cohen's offense isn't necessarily built around that. But we can definitively say he had a true number one in Tampa.
Well, he had 2 number ones in Tampa.
Mike Evans, I would say every team in America would say he is a number one wide receiver. And most would probably say Godwin too. But he had that and still spread the ball around. So, all right, we'll keep the Jaguars conversation going. Y'all can always get in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The jungle is a dangerous place for Colts, Texans, and Titans.
And the Jags are going to win. The Jags are going to win.
1010 XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Homeowners, ready to let the sunshine in without letting your energy bills go up? At Renewal by Andersen, you've got 2 ways to save on new windows and doors this month. Take 20% off your entire window and door replacement project, or choose no money down, no payments, and no interest for 2 years. But this offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, Jacksonville, listen up. Termite swarms are active right now, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock. They silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Lauren Brooks here. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix it with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com to schedule your free termite inspection today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. E.T. here, and your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. And rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. And it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights, and wall-to-wall TVs everywhere. I mean, it's Twin Peaks. Where else you gonna find a scratch kitchen that's always coming through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late at night? Only at Twin Peaks, your #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
This Sunday, in the first season of women's professional soccer in the River City, Sporting Jacks hosts its first ever playoff game. Sunday at 5 p.m. at Hodges Stadium, Sporting Jacks takes on Carolina Ascent in the Gainbridge Super League semifinal. And to kick off this historic night, $1 beers and $1 hot dogs during the first half. Come stand behind your local pro soccer club and help push Sporting Jacks to victory. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com for tickets. Sporting Jacks, pro soccer, pro Jacks.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for fixing my air conditioner last week. It's way nicer at my place now.
Glad we could help. Good to know it was just a small repair.
I know, a new air conditioner can be pretty expensive.
I mean, they do keep your whole house nice. That's a lot of space to keep cool.
I know.
And they do it all summer long, even when the weather is totally Jacksonville temperature outside.
I know.
Luckily, if you ever do need a new AC, we can arrange a financing plan that'll make it easy for you to handle.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Here, put on these sunglasses.
Whoa, they can show banking information? Cool glasses.
Short term, long term, low interest, 0 down payment. There's all kinds of options for bigger projects or even repairs as low as $500.
I wish I had these math sunglasses in high school.
You and me both, pal.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place.
Little queen for you on this Wednesday afternoon. Taylor Dahl, Atomic Grannis, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. From the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. A.J. Brown is a true number one and gives us a good chance to win the division, if not more. This is our window. And then the complete opposite. A.J. Brown was a jerk at Ole Miss and still a jerk. We don't need him. So obviously you're going to get varying opinions.
Yeah,
and again, I don't think it's going to happen.
I could see why you'd want him, as a player and, as what potential production he could bring to the table. You just got to make sure he's a fit inside the locker room. And I think he probably would be for some and he wouldn't be for others. But, again, to me, he's not that team kind of guy, or at least that's the perception. I could be wrong. I mean, look, I don't interview the guy. Maybe they interview him like, no, he can definitely come down here and he'll do what we want him to do and act, the way we want him to be, and we'll get him the ball when we can, and whatever that may be. But the perception is that he wouldn't, be a good teammate if things don't go well. If things go south or he's not getting the attention that he wants. He's a little bit of a lot of those guys are. They just are. Jimmy wasn't, like Keenan wasn't, but a lot of those, number one wide receivers, they tend to be, sometimes a little diva-ish.
Yeah.
It's just in their nature,
The wide receivers and corners, I think we talk about a lot in that world. And a lot of the ones, a Dion and Randy Moss and T.O., all of those guys were very much about themselves. T.O. said, I love me some me. That's what he said.
He was great, too.
He was fantastic. And so I think that you also have to have the right coach with them. And I think that's one of the things we've talked a lot about with Mike Tomlin and what he did in Pittsburgh. He had a lot of diva personalities in Pittsburgh and was able to win football games and keep them at least contained as much as possible. And then they go elsewhere and things would just derail when they weren't with Coach Tomlin. And so sometimes it's the right coach. So do you have confidence that Liam Cohen and this coaching staff could be somebody who would be able to keep those guys a little more controlled, because I think so. I think the way they coach is hard. The one thing is you got to win, and when you don't win, that's when these players that stuff kind of starts to unravel a little
But even
bit.
when A.J. Brown was winning the Super Bowl, he was still unhappy if he didn't get the ball,
A
right?
lot,
Like that's the part of things with him. I mean, Travis Hunter has a brand new bass boat that says "I'm him" on it.
Yeah.
So there's a little diva in a lot of the superstars.
I was going to say, who's the biggest diva on the team? And listen, by the way, having swag is good.
Yeah.
Being a diva where you're a problem, like you're complaining all the time, you don't get the ball, you're bitching and moaning.
I don't think
that
this team
kind of
has
stuff.
any
Like a
divas.
true diva. Yeah.
I don't
think
think
they
so
have-
either.
If you
I
fit
would say
under the intangibly rich category, I don't think you can also be a diva. You can definitely have a lot of swag. I mean, we've seen that.
We
with-
love swag.
Jarian Jones has a ton of
I was
swag.
about to say Jarian's
Absolutely.
one that definitely pops out to me. I think
Travis
that
has some.
Travis
Travis
does.
for sure. LaQuint Allen, I think, even does.
Yeah.
Trevor, truth be told, Trevor has some. It's just not as maybe in your face as some other people.
So the question is, would the Jags take an A.J. Brown? That's an interesting one. I feel like that would be just stretching it a little bit as to what they want in the locker room. But again, if they feel confident after a conversation or two that he would, be a part of it and not be an outlier, not be the outsider, but be a part of the team, and if they felt really strong, I mean, I'm gonna trust him as a player. You'd be like, yeah, I mean, that's great. I still look. I think Brian Thomas needs just a little bit more tough love, just a little bit of more of getting him a sense of urgency in his game. And I think he can be a really productive player. So I'd be surprised if they do it.
I think we all would.
Just because I don't, of those reasons. But if they did it, well, you'd be like, yeah, of course. You're adding a top 5 receiver. Let's just hope it all goes really well and according to plan.
Edgar Bennett is the Jaguars wide receivers coach.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
I would imagine that he's giving BTJ and the other receivers, if they need it too, some tough love.
Yeah, what I meant by that was it just felt like Brian Thomas's game last year was a little, it just didn't feel like a lot of sense of urgency, getting off the line, getting into his route. On occasion there was, and then on other occasions it didn't feel like that. So that's what I meant by that.
Hopefully that's been the focus of the offseason.
He's got a lot of talent, that obviously, and you can utilize that, but he's got to want to do it every single time.
Yeah, I will say it feels to me to like Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington and Brenton Strange and probably Nate Borkacher and Tanner Koziol too, but it feels like they're all the same type of guy. Like if they end up blocking more in a game and they don't get the ball as much, okay.
Yeah.
Like as long as the Jags win,
that's right.
You are not going to hear a peep out of those guys.
Yeah, and I think that for Parker, it's you were drafted a little later. You've also had to really work to get to this point. It was a lot of special teams you've had to play. So I think there's a extra line of appreciation when you've had to do the extra work and kind of start from nothing to build your way up into having your spot into this roster that you have now. And I feel like, A.J. Brown, his first season had over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns like that. So it's a little bit different of trajectory too. You're coming out into the NFL and you're immediately a wide receiver one and a main part of an offense. And so I think there's some validity and understanding when it comes to certain wide receivers being frustrated at times. We saw it with Jackson Smith and Jigba a couple years ago when Shane Waldron was the offensive coordinator. He was very vocal about how nothing worked, and he kind of was complaining that he wasn't getting the ball enough, and then look what happens when you get Jackson Smith and Jigba the ball. So I do think there's some validity to these guys. To me, it's a little bit, we talk about diva, it's confidence that you make the team better with the ball in your hands.
But
and
you
so
keep that in house, I think is what I would say. Like you can be frustrated, but we, the Jacksonville media, should not know that A.J. Brown in Philadelphia is frustrated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
agree, I guess I should
ideally
say?
that you don't, but they do because they get interviewed a million times and everything's on the internet now. And back in the day, it wasn't like that. Not everything you said was recorded and put on the internet. And now we live in an age where it is. So these guys do have to be a little bit more cautious with what they say and how they say it now. And some aren't because out of frustration, you say things. And look, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have screamed at each other on the sideline. I don't think Sirianni's the easiest coach to play for, to be honest, because we've seen multiple altercations between him and players getting frustrated. So how much is that bleeding into some things of just maybe him and Coach Sirianni don't really meet head to head. And we saw that with the quarterback too. And so I do think there's some justifications when it comes to how A.J. Brown has acted at times, but it also is, at the end of the day, the ultimate decision is going to be, do you think that the fit is here, not just on the field, but is the fit here in the locker room? And do you think that this coaching staff could try to like corral some of the explosiveness off the field that A.J. Brown has? Because he's only had one season where he didn't have 1,000 yards, and his worst season was 7 touchdowns. Like, most teams would say, heck yes, bring me that right now. And you deal with a little bit of drama if you have to. But I think that, I don't know if the Jags are in that spot because of how they're receiving the pass catchers in general, how they look right now, and they feel like they're comfortable in that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they could be, like I said, ready to stretch that, that culture a little bit, but they just haven't shown that yet, But I agree with you. I mean, look, again, the player, for sure, the only thing I'd be worried about is if he becomes a problem. And can you handle it?
Yeah.
Like, literally handle it, where, either you're just getting rid of him and claiming a mistake, which would be a big mistake, obviously. He should produce, but again, look, we scored 30 points last year, without any big time. I mean, granted, Parker and Jacoby and the Bryant at the end, but no really true dominant number one. So I don't know. Look, again, if they brought him in for talent, you could understand that. I would just, again, you're going to have to, I don't know, Baselli better, make sure he's good at fighting or something. I don't know. He might have to take the guy down. You just don't want it to be a problem. That's all. And if you got kumbaya in your locker room, you want to keep it kumbaya amongst all the guys.
Baselli has Pregnon now for that.
Yeah.
Fight for him.
Yeah. But look, James Gladstone's known for what? Being bold.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would, my one thing about AJ, and again, I don't know the story, but I know a lot of people, were surprised that the Titans, like, they traded him, right? Yeah, they were shocked. Like, why would
we as Jaguars fans were
why would
elated.
you do that?
Yeah.
So
It was Hopkins and then
Correct.
A.J. Brown, and we're like, yes, get rid of him.
Yeah, the Texans discarded D-Hop. Yeah, I feel like that is the case. By the way, Florida's now up 3-0 in the top of the third. Aiden King is pitching for Florida, so
Nice.
that's good stuff
There
for the
we go.
Ace so far. And if you want to hear the game, it is over on 10:10 a.m. Obviously, I know you're not going to turn us off to listen to the baseball
don't
game,
leave
but I
us.
did want to let everybody know that that is certainly an option. Look, if the Jaguars do it, I think we're all in agreement that we trust them to be able to figure out the situation, and we trust Liam as far as the head coaching side of things. We also trust him as a play caller.
Mm-hmm.
We'd all, though, I think, be really surprised if that was a move that they made.
Yeah.
To me, if they need another player, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, it would be someone to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback. If they were to somehow, some way spend money on a veteran, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a defensive tackle, another one, or a pass rusher, even though it seems like they have a bevy of pass rushers, but one that is tried and true in the NFL.
This hypothetical, is it a player-for-player swap, or is there other capital involved? Do we know? I mean, what are they saying? Just player for player?
That's what
If it happens.
speculation is.
Speculation, yeah. Okay. Really, AJ for a proven guy for an unproven guy? Flat out. Wow.
Yeah. And no
That's
one's, it's
interesting.
just kind of rumors.
No,
of,
I know.
This
I
is
know.
what it could
It's all
possibly look
hypothetically.
like.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if the Eagles would do that, because I think for the Eagles, I mean, you're clearing some space and some money when it comes to that, but then you'd be taking on somebody whose rookie season was really good, sophomore season was, underwhelming a little bit. So you are taking a chance, and you're giving somebody a player who gets 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns every season.
Yeah.
But because of the cost, obviously, BTJ being on the rookie deal would be much more attractive in that regard. But I would imagine that those rumors of A.J. Brown going to the Patriots are a lot stronger than these rumors of, especially because it's Jason La Canfora that originally reported it, that would be a little bit stronger to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to think Vrabel runs a pretty demanding, schedule. I'm trying to think of the right words. No, but, like as a coach, I'm sure, that,
as a
it's
coach,
the Patriot way, demanding in what he wants out of his players.
Yeah.
So if he went there, I don't know if Patriot fans would be like, I don't know, he's a problem. Are we going to be able to handle him?
Yeah.
I would think that Vrabel would be able to handle that. So that's the question. You even asked it, like, could Liam handle it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm sure he could with the collective grouping that they have, and how they run things. But could the players handle them too?
And that's the thing,
another thing.
Right? You've got not just like guys with egos like we talked about, but guys that are expecting the football this season.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if we were to take them and give them truth serum, Parker Washington would tell you he's planning to get 1,000 yards this season.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers would probably tell you maybe not 1,000, but close to that.
Yeah.
BTJ probably expects he's going to get 1,000 yards.
Right. I don't know if this is a direct correlation, but we brought in Bad Moon Rising in '96.
Yep.
And everyone was like, holy cow, and Andre Rison's coming to. He was like a big-time superstar wide receiver. And he spoke his mind. I mean, big time. Night before the fourth game of the year, he got up and addressed the team. And let's just say he said a lot of things with F-bombs behind him. Coughlin never said anything. After he's done, he's like, okay, thanks, Andre. On 3rd down and 13, on their own 5, they, 50% just went right back into his speech. Players loved him, though. They did. I was in the area of the locker room, a lot of defensive backs where they had a corner, and he was always there. He was friends with them, competing against them and whatnot. Now, granted, we had Jimmy, but Andre wouldn't totally adhere, I guess, to what he was expected to do as a wide receiver, where he would get a little rogue in his route running.
Which you can't do.
Which you can't do. So it finally came to a head where Coughlin just had to let him go. And guys were upset. I mean, our locker room, there was some guys didn't really care. Like, whatever, and then we didn't know we had Jimmy yet either, like the Jimmy Smith. He was just coming up. Some guys did really care, though. They were bummed. They were pretty ticked off. Like, why would you do that? But you know what? At the end of the day, now granted, he went to Green Bay and won a Super Bowl. So did Desmond Howard, who left our team too. Both those guys. But he just, although a great talent,
didn't fit.
Didn't fit. I loved him. I had I thought he was funny. He was cool. I mean, he was Bad Moon. He had his own nickname. Like, come on, that's like, that's like royalty. As far as I'm concerned. And
as an homage to the Creedence Clearwater song.
Yeah, but as a fit into the, it just wasn't going to happen, I guess.
I think we can say, Taylor, that we understand this in as far as our show is concerned. Like, some people fit, some people don't.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it goes. And if you don't have chemistry, a show doesn't work. And if you have chemistry, the show is a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then to that point, it doesn't mean that person's any less talented.
Absolutely.
Like, they can go on. And we've seen it across the NFL constantly. And, wide receivers, quarterbacks, whatever the position may be, it just doesn't work in one place for whatever reason. And they go somewhere else. And all of a sudden you're like,
they shine.
whoa, this is all they needed.
I've been doing this show since August of 2014. There's been a lot of different people and voices on the show, right?
Yeah.
You learn very quickly which ones assimilate right in and you have a blast and which ones it doesn't. And again, that's just a radio show for a couple hours.
Yeah.
These people are working together for 14 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, basically, for 4 months, 5 months, depending on how long you play in the postseason.
Yeah, and you just look, if they're mistakes, you got to find them early and then cut them early. Get them out if they're not going to be a fit, for whatever reason.
Right, for sure. All right, Tom, more Jaguars on the other side as well. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The Jaguars Foundation is hosting an intimate evening of community and conversation at the Sports and Culture Speaker Series. Join us June 2nd and 3rd to hear exclusive perspectives from Jaguars leadership, including Mark Lamping, Tony Baselli, head coach Liam Cohen, and general manager James Gladstone, as they talk culture, leadership, and building a lasting legacy on and off the field. To be part of the conversation, visit jaguars.com/community/events.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building. So now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Maybe you have concerns about putting your home on the market and getting it sold. Well, let me alleviate those for you. There's a real quick solution. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold or they will buy it. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. You'll find out for yourself. Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts I trust and recommend with the sale of your home or mine. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Anthony and Mary in Palmco said, we needed to sell our home to move closer to family, but low cash offers weren't cutting it. Since we'd only bought a year earlier, options felt limited, but not for Chad and Sandy. Call Chad and Sandy today, or log on to chadandsandy.com.
What band was Peter Frampton in before he went solo? The answer coming up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The name of Peter Frampton's first band was called Humble Pie.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Watching a little bit of Florida and Vanderbilt square off in the SEC baseball tournament. It is still 3-0 now in the bottom of the third, but runners on second and third for Florida. So certainly those bats that came to life over the last few weeks of the season are staying hot for the Gators. And then when it comes to your Jacksonville Dolphins, they are down 1-0. It is in the bottom of the second right now. North Alabama has runners on second and third. Also, there are 2 outs in that game. But so JU down 1-0, but that's not insurmountable. They can absolutely come back. And Florida has 1 out, by the way.
I've got some good news.
Go for it.
Our friend Brooke Pryor, who we've had on the show, just tweeted recently saying Aaron Rodgers was asked if this is his last year, and he says yes.
Oh, good news.
So Albert Breer says Rodgers' last dance will be in Pittsburgh this year.
Wow.
I am a little surprised that he already announced this. I thought that if he was going to retire, he would announce it either after the season ends, or if it doesn't look like the Steelers were going to make the postseason, then maybe
during the season.
Then maybe like right ahead of the last game or right after the last game, something along those lines.
I said this in our media office a few weeks ago because we were talking about Ovechkin and if he was going to play another season and what that would look like, because there were some Caps fans that were upset because they were like, what if he announces after the season and then you don't know and you don't get to go experience like, oh, this is Ovi's last game here or like whatever the case may be. And I literally sent in the group chat, Aaron Rodgers is going to make the whole season about him if he's having his last year, and he's going to want every ounce of attention. So that's what he's doing. There's no way he was waiting until after and then just going to peace out. He wants every game to be like, here's Aaron Rodgers' last game here, and here's Aaron Rodgers' last time playing to this, and here's Aaron Rodgers this. That's what he wants, is that attention.
Well, he wanted that $25 million too.
Oh, yeah, the money helps.
Secure
for
that,
sure.
right? Get
I
that
mean,
done.
he's made plenty of money, but that's
22
No, I
guaranteed.
know, but
Yeah.
he wanted a little uptick in his pay
and
for
look,
this year.
we always say that, like, when is enough money, right? Or when is money going to be enough to satisfy you? But again, if you were going to tell me, if you work for one more year, if I was nearing retirement, but if you work for one more year, you're going to make, and I would never make that much. But
Yeah,
if I was gonna
$25 million.
yeah, if I could make $200,000, right? Like one more year. It's like, it's hard to walk away from that.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
especially if you feel you can still
25.
do it. And if
Correct.
it's to the point where you're just like, I suck and I, like my body hurts and I can't do this and I'm not having fun anymore, that's one thing. But Aaron Rodgers clearly thinks like he can still play at a high level. And so that's part of it too.
Well, I mean, look, the Achilles was a drag. I mean, come on. He was
kind of,
he was, I mean, like, he was still in his prime, not prime, but he was still able to play at a
Monday
high
Night
level.
Football of
That was
like
wild.
first game of the
know.
season,
Fourth
first Monday Night Football
play
game
or
of the season, I should
something?
say.
First play,
It was.
fourth play, or
I think it was the fourth play.
Yeah. Just, I mean, so that set him back 2 years. That's
Yeah.
especially at that age. So he's probably thinking, I got it. I mean, probably can't, go on much longer with the legs. I'm sure his arm, like a lot of guys, I think they could still throw.
Yeah.
Maybe not as with much velocity as they used to have, but pretty darn good. Like it hurt our hands.
You're just not moving the way you
Can't
were.
move,
Which and that was, that's
Or
a big part of what
recover.
Aaron Rodgers could do is
Totally.
he's underrated kind of speed and quickness and
Good
just
athlete,
being able
great
to move
athlete.
around.
Yeah. So, look, I'm not a huge, Rodgers fan per se, but I've said it before. I like seeing what, quarterbacks that have made their mark, how do they finish? If he finishes with a great year and we still beat him, then you know what I mean?
We got to win.
I'm happy. You know what I mean? It's just a good way to go out. If he goes out like a sore thumb, so what? I don't care either. It's not like I'm going to be like, oh, what a shame. I'm not at all. But I hope he, can do something with Pittsburgh. I've always liked him as a player. He is. I mean, in his prime, he was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, his stats were incredible. It's funny, that documentary, after he won the Super Bowl, he was on the bus thinking like, now what? Like, I don't know if you saw that doc with him.
I did not.
It's it's an interesting documentary. The guy's searching. He's still searching. His home life was a little, I don't know if it's better now, but when it was filmed, like, his mom and dad, his kid, he felt like he grew up in like this kind of like, religion that it was that way or in no way. He felt, I just kind of, that's why he's doing all these things. But when you listen to him talk, you kind of like, all right, this guy's still searching for something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, look,
Something to
again.
satisfy him.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's never, maybe never will be. But maybe he goes out with a nice, little season and wins another MVP and calls it a day. No, I'm just kidding. He won't go that well. But, I think it's good for the NFL. It's good to see him last hurrah. It's one of the greatest quarterbacks that played the game. And you want to see how he goes out.
I feel like Patrick Mahomes' game is probably closest to Aaron Rodgers in his peak than maybe anybody else. Because Brady's obviously much more, and Stafford, much more, in the pocket, statue-esque. Same with Peyton Manning, stuff like that. But Aaron was not the first or one of the first by any means, but certainly he was able to keep his mobility and throw the ball sometimes at those funky angles. And very few quarterbacks, it seems like, are able to do that successfully.
Yeah, no, he could. And he could also whip his hips in midair.
Right.
And make a 60-yard bomb on the dime.
Yeah, exactly.
Without his feet on the ground.
And in clutch moments, too, unfortunately. But in clutch
and
moments.
on top of that, he liked his footballs blown up all the way. Like they were almost
he wants them
overinflated, right? Which means what? He's got a gigantic. I see Doug Flutie every year. He's only like 5'9". You shake his hand, you're like, now I know why you're a good quarterback. You can grab that football. That football is gigantic. I told you when I saw Phil Rivers in church, he like had an extra length of a knuckle on his. I was like, holy cow. I mean, but think about how big that thing is. An NFL ball, and then you got it inflated fully.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, you can't, you can't palm that thing.
Yeah,
you
no,
can't do
definitely
anything with it.
Very clutch onto
pretty
that thing.
incredible.
That's why people talked about Teddy Bridgewater's small hands, small
Rex
wrists.
Grossman, same kind of thing,
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback that when people see him in person, they always say, oh, you're shorter than I thought you were? Is that Rodgers? There's
I don't
somebody
know
that
how tall he
complains
is.
about.
Rodgers was pretty tall. I interviewed him once. He was like 6'3". He was taller than me. Not that I'm that tall, but
no, yeah, but there's some quarterback that when people see him in person, they're always like, "Oh, you're shorter than I thought," and they always get upset. I couldn't remember who it is.
Drew Brees, maybe.
Brees is small.
He is shorter. On the shorter side for sure. All right, Florida has the boses. The base is loaded with 2 outs. Still the bottom of the 3rd inning. So, by the way, Hayden Yost hit his 10th home run in the last 21 games. That's how it was just a solo shot, but solo home run. But that's how Florida went from 2-0 to 3-0. But before we go to break, I'll at least see if Florida can get anything there. Not exactly. Yep. Second strikeout there for Vanderbilt of this game. All right. We will keep you posted on all updates when it comes to baseball. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Warner to throw. Going deep downfield. Isaac Bruce for a touchdown.
I'm Kurt Warner, and you're listening to 1010XL.
73 yards.
92.5 FM.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train, full-time in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year. And the classes are 100% tuition-free. Apply before June 11th and start your new career at nefbaapprenticeship.org.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
What if your next fun day out costs just $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience, no problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. We were talking about this off air. Tarps Off is now sweeping the nation when it comes to Major League Baseball teams. We told the story yesterday of how the Cardinals some fans started it Friday night, and then the Rays fans started to do it, and now I've seen it in lots of different baseball stadiums. And just as a reminder, it's a one section where a bunch of guys take their shirts off and then just start waving them, and they make a ton of noise too for the hometown team. So we are not participating in tarps off here in the studio, but it is sweeping the nation.
I do feel like, and I don't know if this is just because I'm such a diehard baseball fan and watch so much baseball, but I do feel like baseball is on the rise again when it comes to popularity. And some of that may just be some of the stars we have with Shohei's and, some of these guys. Some of it, I think, is there's a lot of really good teams right now. So there's a lot of good baseball. And I think that helps too when you have, the AL not as much. I think there's only 4 teams above 500, but almost the entire National League is above 500. And so I think when you have that much good competitive baseball and you have these star names that are all playing really good baseball, I don't know if that's part of it. We've talked about it before, Lauren, too, when it comes to a lot of the guys from college are starting a lot quicker, too. So you're familiar with these guys already from college baseball and College World Series and the postseason for that. And then they're playing very quickly at the next level. So there's an extra familiarity. But I've just seen more baseball from people that normally don't talk baseball. And this is, like I said, my world. So I don't know if that's everybody's world. But it's been kind of fun to watch because it's things like that. Just that stuff is getting popular now. And it's kind of fun to see it being what feels like rejuvenated a little bit.
Well, and also, I mean, like, what teams do we talk about? We talk about the Cubs are having a good year. You talk about the Braves are having a good year. Tampa Bay's having a good year.
The Rays and the Braves, are like neck and neck for the best record in baseball. The Rays still have it by like winning percentage. The Braves have won more games, but they're literally like a game apart at this point in time. But those are 2 teams obviously locally that we're going to talk about. And I think to your point, Taylor, nationally, if it's not the Dodgers running away with everything, more people are excited, or the Yankees. These other teams are like, let's go. Like, look at, to your point, your division, everyone's either 500 or better. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates at this point, past mid-May, towards the end, beginning of June, are at 500. Like that is pulling in a huge fan base in Pittsburgh that doesn't normally get this, or they get excited, but they don't normally get a good product still this late in the year.
Yeah, and people love that because obviously they like Skeens too, what Skeens does. And so you want Skeens to be on a team that's good and competitive, and the Pirates are. And there's a lot of these smaller market teams. The Rays, the Pirates, the Brewers are all playing really, really good baseball in their small markets. But then you have the big markets like the Yankees and the Cubs and the Dodgers, who have also been good. And the Cubs are in kind of a slump right now, but which is also crazy because they've lost like 8 of 10 and they're still only 4 games back from the top of the whole league. And so it's kind of crazy. But that, I think, having both, like those small market, lovable teams that you kind of want to root for, and then the big market teams also being big. And you have, like I said, a lot of stars across these teams that are playing really well. You talk about the Schwarbers and the Harpers and all of those guys too, who even Harper for a while was like the guy, and then he kind of fell off for a little bit, and then now he's back. And so I think there's just so many fun storylines, and you have ABS this year, so that's bringing extra attention to things because there's been some weird, funky stuff that's happened with that. So it's just kind of fun to watch as a baseball fan.
The White Sox having a good year,
and that's another one.
They've won 8 out of their last 10.
Yeah.
Which
playing really good baseball.
They haven't been good for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, that's
the
cool.
Cubs are like 10-3 against them in the last 13 games. So it's those are ones too. I think the White Sox were obviously the better team in Chicago for a long time, and then
scary
they kind of
fell
off.
Games, though.
Get off the train, walk very fast straight to the stadium. But I just think it's really cool. And I was thinking about it the other day because like I said, I've just seen so many posts from people that normally don't talk about baseball or post about baseball, whether it's a fun one like the Cardinals guys and, the tarps off stuff or some ABS calls or, Skeens and how many guys he's struck out. The Brewers have some crazy pitchers too that are just having these breaking records. And so it's just kind of fun to watch right now as a baseball fan.
I was looking at this article earlier from ESPN, and it said, how real are the good starts from the Rays, Cardinals, Pirates, and White Sox? Ooh. So obviously, if you're interested, you can go through and read the whole article, but it said that the Rays, the verdict is real, the Cardinals, verdict not real, and then the Pirates real and the White Sox real. So again, if you want to go into why they believe that stuff, you can read that article at ESPN.com. But I just found that interesting as far as the especially the Rays and the Pirates, not the Cardinals being again. But that's just what they think at this point in time. All right, time now for Tom's Take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon is just continuing on with the A.J. Brown discussion. Look, I say stick with Brian Thomas. Give him another year. He's still young enough to, if you have to move him, you can. But I think he'll fit in nice in the offense. I think we should focus more on the defensive side. There's still some free agents out there on that side of the ball that could help. I think they'll wait to see what they have, continue on with the OTAs, the offseason, see if there's somebody that's going to step up, whether it's the rookies or the second-year guys, to be that pass rusher that we so desperately need. I think they'll wait to see how that goes, but you got different guys out there. AJ Espinenza, Joey Boza, guys like that could immediately come in and upgrade that pass rush. And at the end of the day, again, the defense is what needs to be upgraded, in my opinion. Now, you got to fix ETN. There's no doubt about that, and that production replace it. But if our defense could close out games, we would have been moving on in that AFC wildcard game, in my opinion. And that's my take today, brought to our friends at Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, and on your cell at Pound Law. That's all.
Speaking of the Rays, they're playing the Orioles right now. The first pitch was at 1:10 p.m. They are down 3-1 to the Orioles, so that would be a little bit of a surprise just because they have been hot. And when it comes to JU now down 3-0 to North Alabama. And reminder, this is single elimination, so JU's going to have to come back and win this game. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the third with 1 runner on. Florida, meanwhile, now the bottom of the fourth, so that means Florida is up to bat, and it is still 3-0. You can hear that game on 1010 a.m. More to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Smart guests, strong opinions, fresh conversations.
The Lead with Hayes Carlyon and Ryan O'Halloran.
Friday afternoons 4 to 6 on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week and weekend at ViStar Ballpark. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Don't miss a special UF Health Hat giveaway on Friday with a Honey Dripper Sunshade giveaway from Arlington Toyota and ViStar on Saturday, and CSX Military Appreciation on Sunday. Get your tickets now at jackshrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Lauren Brooks here. I love our organized closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live, from closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, storage for every space and budget. Make an appointment to tour their beautiful showroom on Phillips Highway today and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off free installation and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation now, 904-878-9393 or online, closetsbydesign.com.
Join Sporting News Jacksonville correspondent Pete Prisco for NFL News and Notes. Of course. Thursday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Frank Frangie and Hayes Carlyon. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
And welcome back to another episode of Potty Talk with our current champion. So what's your secret to your perfect plumbing proficiency?
It's simple, really. Roland Reach Plumbing is always the right answer.
Roland Reach Plumbing, 260-7059.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y summer camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Hey, it's Greg. So, quick update on my path to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. 2 weeks in, and honestly, it's been outstanding. I'm already down 13 pounds. Had to tighten the belt a notch. Friends and coworkers here at 1010XL are starting to notice. You know, it's funny nowadays when somebody loses weight, everybody just kind of assumes, oh, you're doing the shots. Well, nah, that wasn't for me. I didn't want injections, pills, supplements, or chemicals just to kill my appetite. I needed a real lifestyle change, learning better habits with an actual coach and a real plan. Because here's the thing. I'm busy, I'm always on the road, and it's easy to grab whatever's fast and convenient. But I finally decided to stop making excuses, especially after finding out I'm going to be a grandpa. And that lose 40 by the 4th concept was just the push I needed, and it's working. I'm eating, losing weight, and actually enjoying the process. How often do you hear a guy say that? So do it with me. Call today, and today is the perfect time to start getting healthy with a custom weekly plan. Call 844-346-1800 or at awaken180weightloss.com.
PGA Tour star Ricky Fowler.
If you want to be the best, you have to practice with the best. That's why I had Southwest Greens install and maintain my putting green, and my synthetic lawn, and my chipping area, and my practice bunker area, and my bocce ball court, and our pole vaulting area.
Southwest Greens is the world's premier manufacturer and installer of putting greens, synthetic grass, chipping areas, practice bunkers, and just about anything else you want to do in your yard.
It's Southwest Greens.
Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Gate Stores. Tonight marks the beginning of the conference finals in the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Western Conference Finals between the Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche dropping the puck at 8 o'clock. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in the NBA Playoffs between the Spurs and the Thunder tip off at 8:30. The Spurs lead the series 1-0. It's 87 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Right now, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are taking on the Norfolk Tide, and it is Jacksonville 4, Norfolk 2. They just went to I believe, the bottom of the 8th inning. So good stuff there. The Jumbo Shrimp did win yesterday, 5-2.
Love it.
Yes. So all the cats were very happy.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. In the
They're
park.
like, meow.
Yes.
That's right. Today, like I said, 12:05
Wow.
first pitch. So that game is nearing an end. And then updates as far as Florida and JU are concerned. Nothing's changed score-wise for Florida, still up 3-0. And same with JU. JU, though, down 3-0.
I will say one of my favorite things about Jacksonville is when there's a sporting event that is starting earlier, they are all about opening the bars early to make sure people can drink before the event. Like you go back to, for example, the USA men's hockey. There were multiple bars around town opening at like 7 and 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
so people could go in and watch and drink. When the London games, when they're 9:30, bars and restaurants opening up early to watch. I saw the bar by the arena today post like, hey, we're opening at 10 in case you're going to this noon Jumbo Shrimp game. You can come have some beers and lunch before you go. I love it. I love the city for that.
Little breakfast and beer. Go together.
Eggs and eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
That's
you
what
go.
all my friends that went to schools in the north, apparently, like, that's what it was called.
Well,
Like, always,
yeah.
their tailgates were always called kegs and eggs. I was like, well, apparently the SEC has a lot more nighttime games than you Midwestern people.
Little brunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's drive into Lawrence Lane.
Now, Lawrence Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
We've already run through all the local sports updates, so something else to come into Lawrence Lane today. The University of North Florida opened the Perry Weather Heat Lab at UNF's Corey Stringer Institute. That was yesterday, or Monday. The lab will be a hub of research on how extreme heat affects the body, informing real-world protocols and policies. Founded in 2010 at the University of Connecticut following the death of NFL Pro Bowl offensive lineman Corey Stringer, who collapsed during training camp and died of exertional heat stroke KSI has spent 16 years producing the research, policies, and protocols that have reshaped how sports organizations, the military, and employers manage heat risk. So
Wow.
really cool to me that they've obviously embraced this at UNF. Obviously, it already started at UConn many years ago. And I remember that story. Obviously, Tom, I'm sure you do, and Taylor, you do as well.
Yep.
Like hearing that someone could die from heat stroke at practice, that's
No, right.
an NFL player, not just a high, and not saying high school and college is different, but
Yep.
you'd think that at the NFL level, there's no possible way that could happen.
Yeah. I can remember during camp in the hotel room, like getting ready to leave in the morning, them saying on the news that there's a pet advisory for, heat advisory for your pets.
Yeah.
Don't leave them outside too long. It was like, here we go, practicing black
Right.
helmets, It was quite hot, no doubt about it. Listen, it's scary that can happen. Whether we push ourselves to the limit or someone's over pushing a person to the
Right.
limit. You just never know. I mean,
Yeah.
you never expect the body to shut down like that. I don't know the ins and outs of that specific case, but they've done a lot in terms. I mean, you go to the Jags, they have those rooms, you go in and you cool off.
Yeah.
The cool off.
We've seen players use them.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
You listen, it's hot. I mean, it's wicked
humid.
hot out there, and I'll be honest. Like even when they practice in the morning, that's not even the heat of the day. You guys know 2 to 4 or anything like that. Like it's blazing,
Showtime.
blazing,
Cook an egg on your
blazing.
dashboard.
I remember our second practice would be at like 3.
Yeah.
And you just be, hey, sometimes you had to deal with the storm, sometimes you didn't. You were thankful when a storm came in because you got the cool
Little
breeze.
breeze.
You're like, oh, thank you. But there was.
Yeah.
But I think the precautions today and the awareness, like unfortunately it took, that happening to Corey, and other people that, have passed because of the heat exhaustion or whatever, heat stroke. I mean, shoot, you can get that out there if you're in the sun too much in Jacksonville in the summertime. You got to be really careful with that hydration. But I think sports teams all across the board, even down to high school and even further, they're on. You would think they're on top of the hydration aspect. Always having it available,
That
always
part's
making
come a long
time.
way from when we were
Big
in
time.
school.
Oh, yeah.
There were water fountains, but
We never used.
and we certainly weren't allowed to
It was
carry our
like
own
10
water
seconds
bottles.
after recess, and they'd be like,
Right.
you get 10 Mississippis, and that's all the water you get. And it's been 100 degrees, and you've been at recess for 30 minutes playing a very intense game of flag football or Red Rover or whatever the case may be.
By the way, they expanded to UNF. This is the first satellite location expansion beyond UConn because of our year-round heat, our large military presence, and our growing professional sports ecosystem.
Yeah.
Plus, we also have a significant outdoor labor market, or labor workforce. So I do feel like this may expand to other places, but Jacksonville is a really good spot to have
for sure.
More of this research.
I'm not a doctor, obviously, or a biologist or anything like that, or a research, but there's got to be something with salt, and there's got to be something with what's ever in beer. Because I've told you, I've done the studies. Trust me. No, literally, like in the garage in the summer, working out to almost exhaustion, cracking open a beer, drinking half of it or a quarter of it, and it would bring me right back to life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like this. I don't know what it is. I don't think you can drink a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Just
there's
getting that
the
a little bit of it.
hops
Yeah.
or the whatever's in there.
Well, we've talked about
don't
it
know.
with the
There's
pickle
something there.
juice because
Right,
pickle
pickle
juice is
juice,
one
right. Yeah.
because I love pickle juice in general, but I've read a lot of things about it helping with hydration and cramps and things
absolutely.
like that.
No
And so
doubt.
it has to be something where those two things,
Sodium.
salt and sodium, is
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
got
things that obviously those are high in. And I remember Lauren having a conversation on here because I had read an article that this was like in college and the NFL were doing it where they would test players like salt levels now they test their sweat because everybody sweats a little bit different and there's different things in the body, so they need to know exactly like how much Gatorade versus water that each of these players need, and everybody has certain things that they need. And so it's getting, obviously there's more and more technology to be able to do these things and understand and being able to research and know everybody's body's a little different. And so that's one of the positive things is the
I
more
wonder if it's
knowledge
like a
you
pH
have,
level.
yeah,
Something
then
along
the
those
more
lines.
you're able to help some of those things. And I know going back, so my uncle played college with Chris Johnson at Olympia in Orlando, and he got a scholarship to go play college football out in Arizona. you're obviously not used to that. Your body is not used to the dry heat and the desert out in Arizona. And he got super sick out there. I mean, he was out there for a couple days, third day of camp, and he ended up collapsing. They had to rush him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks because it was just like his body wasn't used to conditioning to that. So that's another thing too. You have all these players who grew up in the Midwest or the Northeast and have to come down and play in Florida all of a sudden, and they don't know how to really handle the different heats or, humidity compared to the dry air and things like that. And so I do think the research levels have to change depending on where you are in the world and how your body reacts to certain things, and all of those things you have to take into account.
That's the idea. You got to practice in the heat so you can play in the heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get kind of acclimated to it.
Hydrated well enough, obviously, for both. According to Stanford Medicine, doctors no longer recommend salt tablets on hot days to prevent heat stroke, just FYI. But beer, as far as post-workout, low ABV beer, so beer less than 4% alcohol by volume, can be as effective as a post-workout hydrator.
How about that?
So there you go. So maybe don't take the salt tablets. Have some salt.
Some beer.
But definitely, one low ABV beer after a workout.
Don't worry about the ABV stuff. Just grab your favorite beer. And
exactly.
I remember when we were up in Vegas and we had our huddle up party with all the Jaguars fans, and a bunch of them came out. And I was talking to a couple that they live in Denver now. The guy was from Jacksonville. The ladies from Denver, and so they lived there now. And she was like, "Oh, we try and get back to Jacksonville at least once a year to go to a Jags game." She's like, "But we have to avoid September. It's just way too hot there to even handle that." And obviously, it gets hot in Vegas too. Tommy, we were there last summer, and it was brutal. But it is a little bit different of a heat. If you're used to one compared to the other, it feels different. But they were telling me, and I didn't know this, but it kind of makes sense, I guess. But they were like, it's harder for us to get drunk in Florida, and I'm like, really? And she was like, yeah, because your blood thins because of the altitude where they live. And so they don't have to drink as much to feel a buzz as they do when they come back to Florida.
Huh.
I know.
That's interesting.
And I don't know if that's a scientific thing, but they said it.
Because like in an airplane, you get drunker in an airplane. Don't you?
I think, yeah.
Like, doesn't...
I know after you give blood, after you give blood, like, then it takes far less. I don't know about the airplane part of things.
I thought altitude, made you a little bit like you didn't have to drink as much, but they're saying the opposite.
Perhaps.
They're saying you don't have to drink as much in Denver.
In Denver.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
They said they have to drink more in Florida. They're like, it's more expensive to get drunk in Florida.
Right.
Is what
that makes sense.
If I mix that up, that's what they were saying.
I got you.
Well, our drinks are cheaper in Jacksonville than in Denver. I can assure you of that. By the way, Vanderbilt just tied it up. It is now 3-3 there, and they have a runner on third. So they got to Aiden King a little bit there, so we'll keep you updated. And then as far as JU is concerned, I believe they are still down 3-0, but that game is in a commercial. So lots to keep you updated with today. And when it comes to the Rays, still down 3-1 in the top of the 8th. More to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
This is Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Steve Wonder of the world.
1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Installed by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
The Gator softball team wrapped up the weekend sweeping their way through the regionals in Gainesville, winning 3 straight. And now it's on to the Super Regionals with a shot at the Women's College World Series on the line. The Gator baseball team with a sweep of their own, taming the Tigers of LSU, and now on to Hoover for the SEC tournament. Florida with a first-round bye, and will meet the winner of Kentucky versus Vanderbilt Wednesday.
Jeff Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup, and that's why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. If you want it done right, the first time, get a quote today. Thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you in this financial climate, or really any, it's never been more important to make your money work for you, which is why I'll recommend Mike McGuire and the wealth management team at South State Bank. Financial planning is based on trust because it's so important. You can trust the South State team. They offer the best combination of sophisticated wealth management strategies with a truly personal approach. That will help you meet your financial goals. Stop by your local South State branch and ask them to connect you with Mike McGuire and the wealth management team. You'll be glad you did. South State Bank, member FDIC.
When you want to know what's happening in Gainesville, roll with the Gator Report. I'm Joe C. Listen for updates on Florida Gator athletics several times a week on 1010XL. Built by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Go, Gator!
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by Meta over rebounds, under assists, method of first basket, free throw, piece.
Huh, so you really can same-game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Looking for a real career with great pay and full benefits? Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. As a growing, family-owned company that cares about its employees, they're hiring lawn technicians in the Jacksonville area. No experience required. This is a salaried position with top industry pay. Full benefits, a 401k match, and paid training. Apply today at JulingtonCreekPestControl.com. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Equal opportunity employer. If you're in the construction business, here's something you'll want to know about. Equipment Share, one of the country's leading construction equipment and technology companies, is opening a brand new location on General Avenue featuring their top machines. Join their celebration on Thursday, May 21st, and tour the facility, meet the team, grab a free lunch, and enter to win exclusive raffle items. Doors open at 11:30. RSVP at equipmentshare.com/Jacksonville. They'd love to see you there.
Pickin here. See clearly with the Eye Associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD at 296-0098.
Some auto shops love giving your wallet a flush every time you visit. Not AA Automotive. They fix only what needs fixing, nothing more. Honest, fast, and fair. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. ET here, and it's bigger game days and UFC fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that's always coming through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late at night? Only at Twin Peaks, your #1 sports bar.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus is here. Taylor Dahl, RJ Summers. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Did the week go by a little faster last week when you were on vacation versus
this week? Actually went by really fast. I was just talking to Trent about that in our media room because, and I don't know if it's because I had a good amount to do because I was catching up on some stuff from vacation, and then my podcast too. I didn't do podcast for a week, so I had to catch up on some of that stuff. So it's actually gone by pretty quick, and I think also part of it in my head, I'm like, oh, we get a little long weekend too, so it's a little extra treat at the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
what's today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah. It's flying by.
It's almost pre-Friday.
Oh, yeah. The weekend's here tomorrow afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Get into it.
I'm pulling a Frangie and I'm off on Friday, but only this Friday. All right, so JU is still down 3-0, and unfortunately, bases are loaded for North Alabama, so we will keep you updated there. Again, single elimination in the ASUN baseball tournament, and then Jackson Barberry did at least get out of the inning, so it is still tied at 3, so he at least was able, like I said, not to let that runner on third score, but now the bottom of the 5th, Florida is up to bat. Brendan Lawson, one of Florida's best hitters, is up to bat right now. So
this is single elimination,
it sure
right?
Is.
Okay.
Yes, it is single elimination, as is the ACC baseball tournament.
Okay.
The only one that's different, ASUN, well, I shouldn't say only. The only one I'm paying attention to that's different, the ASUN, is both single and double elimination.
Okay.
But the ACC, just like the SEC, is single elimination. And I'll give you an update as far as that is concerned. Pitt beat Louisville yesterday, 16-8.
Okay.
So FSU now awaits the winner of Pitt Wake Forest. That game is tonight at 9 p.m. But you were telling me before the show began that Notre Dame,
yeah, they've won
crushing
12
it.
of 13. They went on just
That's
like
a
a
tear.
heater at
Yeah.
the end of the season, and then beat Clemson yesterday in the start of the ACC. And so they'll play Virginia Tech next. If they beat Virginia Tech, they'll play UNC. If they beat UNC, it'll be Florida State and Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Assuming that Florida State
They win. No, because
gets-
they don't. Oh, yeah, they do have to play.
Yeah, they'll play tomorrow.
So the way the bracket is, it already shows Florida State at that.
Because Florida State
it's a double.
got the double bye.
Yeah, that's why. But so it could be interesting because obviously Link Jarrett and that whole conversation.
Mhm.
But it's kind of wild because Notre Dame in the mid-season, they were ranked for a minute and then it just kind of fell off, and then all of a sudden they just started winning like crazy. So we'll see if that continues.
And you got to see that team in the
early in the season. Yeah, which they lost.
Jack's Baseball Classic. That
Lost
they
to
did.
LSU early, and LSU ended up not even being that good.
That is also true. I'm not sad about that. That's for sure. All right. So last night, I will tell you, I was up till about 10:30 watching that NBA game, Cavs and the Knicks, and I said, "This is like a 22-point game. I am not going to stay up and finish this." I mean, let's be honest. I don't care that much about either of these teams.
Yeah.
I'm watching this because it's the Final Four of the NBA. And then I wake up and I'm like, wait,
What
the Knicks did what? No, there's no chance. Literally, there's no chance. So RJ Saunders, were you still awake when that game ended in OT?
I was dozing. I will be honest, but getting into the last 5 minutes,
Mhm.
I'm kind of like, okay, you were just up 22.
Unbelievable.
I still can't believe that it happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, no lead, especially in the playoffs, is safe. I know the adage has normally been in a lot of game ones, especially if you are up by a lot, you kind of want to send a message.
Mhm. Especially if you're on their home floor.
This is the problem that Tom Thibodeau had back in Chicago one year. I'll leave it at that.
I know.
So, yeah, I think the ball got too sticky. I think that's what happened. I think Cleveland thought they'll lay down, but especially after what we saw in Game 7, where they got a big lead against Detroit. Detroit's like, that's the year 1-2-3 Cancun, and I mean, you're just kind of letting the ball stick. The shot clock's not your friend at this point. You're just throwing up whatever you can. You make it, you don't, you don't.
But didn't the Knicks come back and beat the Cavs in the regular season kind of in a similar way?
This is the issue.
So the Cavs should have known this
Yeah.
could potentially happen.
I think you don't even have to if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. I understand what I talked about with the Detroit Pistons, but I mean, look at what Detroit did against Orlando in Game 6.
Right.
Here's Orlando, I think up 22-24. And Detroit walks, or as Jake Chapman said, ran the Magic all the way down. They end up winning that game, go back to Detroit, win Game 7, win the series.
Right.
So no lead is, in particularly safe and in any NBA playoff series. I would also say with this New York Knicks team is kind of like, like that fly that you keep hearing in your ear and you're trying to smack it. They're kind of like that. And, for the Cavs to go away from what they did in the first 3 quarters to now, in an entire fourth quarter, they're thinking, Nurk's going to lay down. I mean, not the greatest of game plans, in my opinion.
No, and Harden struggled at the end where he's been on fire at the end in earlier series. Brunson went right at him. It was tough to guard him. He got hot. Harden went south, got cold.
Well,
in the fourth quarter, not very good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're going to attack every team's weakest defender. I mean, you see it a lot in a lot of NBA playoff games where you're trying to find who the mole is, who's the guy, who's the weakest defender. And we're going to go after that guy. James Harden, fortunately for a lot of his career, has been, that guy that you want to get kind of on a switch. And listen, James Harden used to be on the other side of this a lot of times where, you're wanting to set a high screen roll, get him on a weaker defender. Off he goes. There he goes.
Yep.
I find it comical. And I understand Kenny Atkinson's trying to be positive about James Harden. He's one of our better defenders. Kenny.
Yeah.
Lie to your pastor. Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, just Yeah, Cleveland let one go. I mean, if you're the New York Knicks, you're kind of looking at each other like,
oh,
we were not supposed to win that one.
Yeah.
Like you would we won that one.
That's right.
And now you go into game 2, you have all the energy. Cleveland has to figure out a way to say, well, we understood we were the better team for 3 quarters. Can we?
Yeah,
can
3.5 quarters.
3.5 quarters. You know, so they're going to put more time on the clock in game 2. Can we do what we did in game 1 and
finish
that in game 2? Now that's not going to say that you're going to have a 22-point lead again. I think that's probably like the last time we'll ever see a lead in that series be more than 20. But can you, if you're up, let's say 6 or 8 with 4 or 5 minutes left, can you
close it out?
Can you close it? That's going to be the question.
Is there a team you'd rather see move on from this series?
Between New York and Cleveland?
Yeah.
I
see the eye rolls.
Yeah.
The
NBA would tell you the Knicks, by the way. The association would tell you 100% the Knicks.
I mean, the NBA has always been, I mean, what's the adage? I mean, the NBA is better when the Knicks are good, when the Sixers are good, when the Lakers are good. Teams like that.
Celtics.
When the Celtics are good.
Yeah.
The NBA is a better product. I mean, there's an entire city and a fan base behind this team, that hasn't been to the NBA Finals since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And that season, you had a strike and you didn't play games until January.
Right.
So you only played 50 games that year.
And you'd have games in the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden.
I mean,
City.
I could not imagine how that city's going to be if the Knicks make the NBA Finals. And I think they are. I mean, me right now, I think it's going to be a rematch of 1999. San Antonio versus the New York Knicks. That's just me kind of after watching one game. But yeah, no,
we all overreact to just one game, though.
We all do. But it seems to me. I mean, I think I talked about it with you yesterday. If I had to power rank, all 4 teams. I mean, New York is kind of like my 3rd team in terms of like winning the NBA championship.
But behind both teams in the West.
Behind both teams in the West, and that's what disgusts me the most.
Yeah, and that's what happens in the NFL. Yeah. There's 2 teams in the AFC that are much better than we think teams in the NFC.
This
Last year, the exact opposite this past year, both the Seahawks and the Rams, we think, would have won for sure. By the way, Blake Sear had a 2-run home run. So it is now 5-3 Florida with a runner on second and no outs there in the bottom of the 5th. In Hoover, Alabama, that's where, by the way, Dan Hicken is.
Oh, he's up there.
He's in Hoover.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. His son's a part of the baseball team for sure.
All right.
I was just talking about that too when you talk about New York, because it's still, and I've been talking about this now for 10 years since I've started working here at 1010XL, but the city of New York, their 4 major sports, hasn't won a championship since 2011 when Eli Manning and the New York Giants won. So that's what you saw, the Buffalo Sabres, and everyone was like, oh, cool, maybe it's going to be somebody different, and
or
it's going to be the Bills.
Yeah.
Obviously were there. And then you've seen the Yankees in recent years, and they hadn't, go to the World Series but not win. And so here's another thing where it's just like in reach.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, come on, somebody just do it.
Yeah, but you do feel like, again, from the experts, that no matter who wins in the East, that either team that wins in the West is going to win. That's what everyone thinks, but you never know.
You never know.
By the way, I sent you all the article earlier. It is a decently long read, but Victor Wembanyama, a story on ESPN.com, and people who have been talking about him as far as like just the maniac on the court that he is, and he's so incredibly talented. Well, in the offseason, he went to the Shaolin Temple in the Henan province of China to train with some monks. And he was doing things that the head guy said, that the head monk said that it typically takes people 8 hours to get up this particular mountain, right? Like it's so steep and such a difficult climb, it takes people 8 hours. Wembanyama this past summer, while dribbling a basketball the entire time, it only took him 4.5 hours. And he was dribbling
he could take
the
like
entire
12
time.
steps at once.
Stride.
That's true
cuts
too.
it in half.
That's true too. But like they were talking about how he had struggled with meditation in the past, but now he's able to meditate for the full 90 minutes with these Chinese monks and everything that this guy was able to teach him, just, as far as the body control when it comes to kung fu and stuff too. Like I said, if you're a fan of Wembanyama or if you want to learn more about him, it reminded me so much of like a Tiger Woods, how insane his training was away from the golf course. And yet obviously his body eventually broke down, but that's one of the reasons he became who he was. Like, yet somehow he became the best golfer in the world because he's psychotic. But Wembanyama, and I'm not saying Wembanyama's psycho, but they also talked about Kobe Bryant and some of the stuff that he learned to do. And he studied sharks. Like, I want to say it was tiger sharks or bull sharks, but he studied sharks as to how they attacked their predators. Kobe did, and then he went into a cage off of Mexico to do the shark feeding and whatnot to be able to watch them up close and personal.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't want to do.
I thought he'd be into like poisonous snakes, with the Black Mamba being his
And
nickname.
There's an interesting story behind that. I understand because of time constraints, but there's an interesting story behind that. That was supposed to be Jordan's thing.
Oh.
But Jordan was afraid of snakes.
Oh.
So he didn't want the Black Mamba thing with him. So they ushered that to Kobe. But one of my big takeaways from that article, Lauren, and I want to kind of ask you, McManus, I mean, being a professional player, it's kind of a spirituality to the game. When, when there's, Kobe talked about that with Phil Jackson. I think Phil Jackson and Victor Wembanyama would have been best friends. I mean, in terms of Phil was very spiritual also about the game. He felt that there was, that kind of an element to the game of basketball. Is it the same with football? Is there kind of like this spirituality element to football that one has to kind of be in tune with? I know it's more of like an aggressive spirituality, but
I think we all chase that glory, right? And I don't know if you can like put glory into words. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, it's glorious to run out on the field on a playoff game or make a big play or win a playoff game or get it to the AFC Championship game. It's a glorious, it's almost euphoric, like you can't put it into words. How great was it to play in the NFL? Like, beyond words, great. It was the greatest thing, professionally that I've ever done. It was incredible. It was incredible all the way around. And I think I think as you become, honed into your craft, like you're trying to get better at everything you do, right? You do go and seek other ways to train, whether it's yoga. I took kung fu and boxing. Other guys take MMA or jiu-jitsu or, whatever. You go to stretch class. You just do whatever you can. And some of it is that Zen. I tell you, I still do it today, but one of my favorite things to do, especially back then, was stretching on the beach when nobody was around. It was just me and the beach. I mean, there might have been people around, but it wasn't like a crowded, thing. And I'd go out there and I'd do all my karate stretches, all my stretches that I've learned all over the years that I still do. And it gave you that peaceful, Zen-like feeling. So maybe you're searching for that, I mean, look, I think it's 7'7", and the way how athletic he is and trying to, a lot of martial arts is all about balance and centered energy, if that, you know what I mean? Like, you can handle anything per se. Does that make sense?
It does.
You know what I mean? So maybe he was doing some of that.
Have you seen how Wemby warms up? He has like the coaches kind of like push on him as he's on one foot and stuff like that
for balance.
To work on balance. By the way,
kind of looks like a praying mantis.
Right.
But a very, very tall one. I'm an idiot. I said tiger shark or bull shark. What's the worst shark? Well, not worst, but what's the most dangerous shark in all of the ocean? The great white.
Oh.
That's what he was studying. Of course, the great white. And by the way, Kobe said that it helped him defend Allen Iverson. His studying of the great whites helped him. He also was fascinated by how Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, because Michelangelo had to be in this one really small area upside down for like 3 years or something along those lines. Anyway, good stuff there.
Yeah, and when Kobe's like that level of greatness. You know what I mean? Who knows what goes through those guys' mind? The Gretzkys, the Tiger Woods, Kobe's, Jordans.
And obviously that's what Wembanyama is chasing.
Yeah,
exactly.
After
that,
No,
to be that next.
It's definitely information I think he's chasing. I mean, Gilbert Arenas talked about how he missed free throws in a critical playoff game. Said his heart was beating too fast. So he talked with, a sniper. From the U.S. military to say, like, can you teach me how to, control my breathing?
Wow.
Doing stuff like that. Kobe talks about anything from, Heath Ledger, just watching how he, played the Joker and how he kind of took solace from that. You talked about Jordan as well. This is when Jordan was playing for the Wizards and the Lakers had lost to Jordan's Wizards. And how Kobe, idolized Jordan. And he said, you can put on the shoes, but you can never fill them. They said Kobe didn't talk to anybody for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And everybody's like, does Kobe have a problem with us? Like, like what's happening? And Phil was like, And Jordan said this after the game, and everybody went, oh, guess we're not getting the ball. When do we play Washington again? Oh, we play them in 2 weeks.
Right.
That's when Kobe drops 55.
Yeah.
So like anything like these guys can take, it's it's an amazing thing as to like what that brain can do. Funny in the same summer though with Victor Wembanyama spending time with the Monks. And then he's trying to gain information from Kevin Garnett, which is like completely opposite side of the spectrum. Where there's a picture of like him yelling at Wemby, like you need to do this and you need to do like. And Kevin said he's going to start working with him. So I mean, to kind of get
it's like peace and chaos.
If he figures out how to put those two together, it's going to be that's a scary individual
for sure. And game 2, by the way, between the Spurs and the Thunder is
finding that
tonight
edge,
at 8:30. That's right. We all got to find it. More to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Big moment. Play-by-play is full of plot twists.
Did that just happen?
And high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Summer's almost here, and that means it's grilling season. Before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street and 295. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meat, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at a grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
In a sea of big box corporate chain jewelry stores here, Beard's Diamonds is a refreshing alternative.
I grew up in Jacksonville, and we have been shopping at Beard's for over 2 decades.
Meet Richard Skinner. Richard's journey with Beard's started when nobody could even come close on the engagement ring he wanted.
We did shop around that stone and that particular setup with different jewelers, and Beard's was able to come in significantly lower. It was a no-brainer.
Since then, he's become another voice in the word-of-mouth advertising that has made Beard's stronger than ever.
I have referred my friends and sisters and brothers, and they have all had a very, very pleasurable experience at Beard's. The selection is great. The staff is awesome. It's a well-run business that really does care about their clients and their customers.
And unlike the others at Town Center, Beard's is a locally owned family jeweler.
The fact that they're locally owned, it does give you a little bit more personal experience. They actually have a desire to better the city of Jacksonville.
Beard's Diamonds. Online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Hey, Tommy Mack here for Armstrong Fence, locally owned and operated right here on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. They're known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service. Armstrong Fence, they handle it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. So when you need a fence you can trust, the Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Hey, Matt Hayes here, and wow, time flies by. Last year feels like 2024. 10 weeks ago feels like yesterday. That's how quick Reclaim by Awaken 180 is and feels. 10 weeks to do what took you 5 years, 10 years to pile up with that weight. 40 pounds gone in 10 weeks? That's what I did. That's what Awaken 180 Reclaim was built for. And I'm telling you, when that kind of weight comes off, life starts feeling different fast. Your clothes fit differently. You move differently. You carry yourself differently. Even walking into a room feels different when you're not thinking about your weight before anything else. That's why Reclaim by Awaken 180 makes so much sense to me. It gives you a simple 10-week plan with a real beginning, a real end, and a real finish line. Not someday, not I'll figure out, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks from now. It's 10 weeks to finally go after it and achieve the best part, keeping it off with free support for life. I did it. Hacker, Amber, and Greg did it. Awaken 180 works. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment. We've talked a lot about the improvements during the offseason of different teams, and obviously, and what that looks like for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And one of the things that we've mentioned a lot, and today we've talked about that as we've had the conversations about A.J. Brown and if he would fit here in Jacksonville and if the offense would be better and if Liam Cohen would be the right coach. There's so many conversations that you could have with that. Would the money be worth it? And would the Eagles even do it? That all of the conversations that involve that. But every time we have one of those conversations about changes with the offense, we all kind of go back to they didn't have a problem scoring. Like that wasn't the issue. And so how much do you really need to invest in that when you feel like a year two offense with Liam and Trevor and Parker and all of these guys and, the couple tight ends they did add to the team this offseason, how much that'll already improve or at least keep the offense where it is. But I saw something that was kind of interesting when it comes to the league in general this last year and the offenses, which ones were the most efficient versus the least efficient offenses.
Okay.
And so they compared the two, the rushing EPA per play and the passing EPA per play. The three worst teams in the league this last year when it comes to those two numbers combined were the Browns, the Titans, and the Raiders. I feel like we'd all, those are probably the teams we would list. The Saints were just next on that. They were fourth.
I would have thrown them in.
Yeah, and I know they like, obviously, Tyler Shuck. That's something we've talked about. It took a little bit of time for him to get in and maybe some time to get going. So we'll see what the Saints look like now in year two with him and kind of some of the things that they've added on their offense, including Travis Etienne. But the top ones in the league are the ones we've also talked about quite a bit when it comes to the Rams and the Bills, were the two most efficient offenses throughout the season as a whole. And these are both, like I said, it's including rushing and passing. So you could look at it and say the best passing EPA team in the entire league this year were the Patriots and the Packers, but they weren't as good at running the ball. The best running teams in the NFL this year were the Ravens, the Colts, the Bears, and the Bills. But they weren't as good at passing throughout the season as a whole. The Jags sit right in the midst of there's like the right tier of this chart where you want to be. And the Jags are there, but they're not quite where you want. And we'd all probably know that the rushing side of things in the second half kind of fell off. And that's why they're a little bit lower when it comes to that. They're around average in rushing EPA and a good amount, bit ahead when it comes to the passing EPA. But one of the things that the Dallas Cowboys are just behind the Rams and the Bills when it came to their offense this year, when it came to the balance of that rushing offense and passing offense. But I think outside of that one, every other team you're talking about were playoff teams. It's the Seahawks, it's the Niners, it's the Rams, it's the Bills, it's the Jags, it's the Bears, it's the Steelers. So all of those teams you're talking about when it comes to being able to have efficient offenses, and there's a couple outliers. The Texans were really bad at running the ball, one of the worst in the league. The three worst at running the ball last year were the Raiders, the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Texans. So that's a lot of the conversation we've had too on this show. If David Montgomery is the answer, how much does that help their offense and take pressure off of CJ Stroud? That's going to be a conversation going into this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. How much remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But and we felt that way with Trev right here, needing a running game to help complement him. He eventually took over, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, look, it's about, putting points on the board and not letting the other team score as many. You look at Dallas, like they had no problem scoring points. But
their defense was
they were
awful.
like a sieve.
Yeah.
Like they gave up so many big plays and points and whatnot. So we're obviously, I think the Jags are right at that point of, look, you're either going to make that jump and be a perennial playoff team, meaning year after year, as long as you stay healthy, there's caveats in that, or you're going to, just be an okay team that's going to be battling with Houston for the title and or someone else for second place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're close on both sides, right? We're close on offense as far as points scored. We were top, 6 last year? Defense has got to be better, in terms of points scored.
I think if you look at the last 8 games, the Jags were the leading scorer. I want to say points
for
per
sure,
game,
for
which
sure.
is so wild to think about the offense the prior year.
But you look at the top scoring offenses last year: Rams, Pats, Seahawks, Bills, Lions, Jags, and Dallas. That's the
the
one
Lions
is
are
Detroit, but everybody else is playoff teams.
Exactly.
So.
And the Lions are normally a playoff team.
Yeah, I think they bounce back. I don't know if they'll win, but I bet you they're a little bit better this year.
Yeah.
I thought for sure Taylor's
year to
golden moment was going to be that Aaron Rodgers only has one season left to play. A quick update baseball-wise, the North Alabama and JU game is currently in a weather delay, which is interesting because that game is in DeLand, Florida. We're here in Jacksonville, Florida, and God bless you. And and I don't see any sort of rain in our area, so it must be just south of us.
I thought the golden moment was going to be yesterday. I forgot to ask you this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, when you picked the Bears-Jags game, you said, "I hope they both have fun." So is that a tie?
I picked tie as our record.
Okay, yeah, so that's a tie.
So if I picked a record, I put 11-5-1.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a tie in this. Hey, you never know. There was a tie. Wasn't there a tie this year?
There's been a few ties in recent years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
I don't think it'll actually tie. I just can't pick because I feel like I'll jinx it one way or the other.
Yeah, there was a tie 40-40 in September of 2025. So this past September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Past season in September. 40-40 between the Packers and the Cowboys.
Yeah. I remember that one.
I feel like, they don't normally have ties, obviously.
Because I feel like that stretch of time they lost to
that's right. Yeah.
lost to the Browns, lost to the Panthers, and ended up tying with the Cowboys in the stretch of time. And it was really a really weird.
A really weird stretch for them.
Very odd for sure. All right, Pest of the Day on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Spring means wings. That's right. The Spring Wing Fest is happening right now at Bono's Barbecue. Frank Frangie here. Bono's wings are the best around, and now they've got 2 new flavors, garlic, parm, and lemon pepper. Head to Bono's today and get 6 wings and a side for $10.99 or a 10-wing basket for just $15.99. But hurry, the deal ends June 30th. To find the Bono's near you, head to bonosbarbq.com. That's bonosbarbq.com. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Ready to put your dream car in drive? Get solid rates for the road ahead when you finance with First Florida Credit Union. Enjoy competitive low rates, up to 90 days of no payments and budget-friendly protection plans. Whether you're buying a vehicle or refinancing, stop by a branch or apply online at firstflorida.org/autoloans. Membership eligibility required. Interest accrues during loan payment deferral period. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit firstflorida.org/autoloans.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. It is 5-3 still. Florida leading Vanderbilt. Runners on first and second with 2 outs for Florida, and currently up to bat. I believe that's Blake's here. Up to bat, and so looking like, especially if Florida can add some more insurance runs, then maybe Florida will move on to play Alabama tomorrow. That would certainly be the goal as we sit here today. Time now for today's Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, all of your favorite event venues around town. By the way, I told you all that the Jumbo Shrimp, speaking of ViStar Ballpark, were leading earlier. They did end up winning 4-2. That's right. I'm happy about that. And so, of course, they'll have another game tomorrow to continue that 6-game homestand. But I'm going to go the Pest of the Day today. I feel like this company has been, or an entity has been a pest many a time before. Live Golf to pitch new business model amid bankruptcy report.
Oh, gosh.
Live, just...
I wonder why they're bankrupt.
I know. Shocking.
Give everybody all your money. How dumb are you?
You paid entitled people way too much money to play a sport that they were already getting a lot of money to play for on the PGA Tour. And the PGA Tour, I feel like, still has to work hard in order to make enough money to pay those guys. So, yeah, Live Golf, just give it up. Let it rest. You're done. You're done, kids.
We gave the golfers
Party's
a hard
over.
time, but they were just stealing from the Saudis, technically. I think that's what ended up happening at the end of this.
Yeah, they obviously, the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund said back in April that they were done wasting their money, is how I would describe it. But just I feel like Live just needs to shut its doors. I don't even know if it has like an actual office or if they're just
What it is.
Yeah, if they're just working remotely at this point in time.
No power, probably.
Yeah.
It's like the USFL. What, lasts like 3 years, 2 years, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, just kind of a
Or is that the one that's still going
pass
on?
in the
UFL is
no,
right
that's
now.
the UFL
is
and the
still going on.
XFL.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
USFL was Trump's. When did Trump's league?
Probably.
I think it was.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they drafted all the big names went. Like New Jersey Generals had Flutie and Herschel Walker. I mean, they were big time. Jim Kelly played for the Houston team, the Ramblers, I think.
Because the Jacksonville had the Bulls. We had the
Jacksonville Bulls, yeah, absolutely.
I
That was
remember
a
that
great
part.
league. Great league for a
One
while.
person from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, going back to our conversation earlier about having salt tablets in order to prevent dehydration and or drinking beer after a workout. This person said, the question is, can you put salt in your beer? I don't know. I don't know
I've
if
seen
other
people
people
do
do
that
it, but
many times,
when I used to drink draft beer, never like a canned or bottled beer, but if I drank draft beer and if it wasn't maybe like as fresh, I would always put just like a little bit of salt in there. But I definitely always put salt on the coaster because the beer
Keeps it
glass
from
would
sticking.
sweat, and then
Yeah.
that way it wouldn't stick, and then you wouldn't end up.
What does
losing
the
it.
salt in the beer do? Like, what is it?
I think they're just joking.
Gives it a little salty.
But I'm just because I see a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I think at least my experience was draft beer. It just adds a little bit of flavor to it.
Yeah, it's like addicted to salt.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't drink beer, so
You know,
I
those
don't
people
know.
like I don't know. You have chips. You know, they add the extra salt all the time.
Yeah.
With the fries, they got to have the extra salt.
Always
Yeah.
salt.
So
Another
they're, like,
person
salty.
said,
Just because we're American, we
That's
have
right.
salt.
We
everything.
do that.
Salt it all
You
over.
can get flavor without adding salt. You don't always have to add salt just to get
True.
flavor.
That's right,
This
Lauren.
person says, pretty sure I learned that from Brian. Pretty sure that the Jags are the only team in the NFL to never
Not
tie.
tie.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
That is
Okay.
interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, the the weather delay also could have been today's pest because you don't like the idea of JU being down 5-0 with this weather delay after I think it is 5 innings. And so I wonder if they're going to continue the game or not. We will certainly keep everyone posted. Oh, and by the way, the Rays came back to win and beat the Orioles 5-3.
All right.
So there you have it. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes Carline joins us now. Hayes, have you been locked into Gator baseball?
I have not. How are they doing?
So far,
they're
so
winning.
good. We are winning 5-3 in the top of the 7th, and Jackson Barberry, who's pitching now, is throwing some gas.
All right, good stuff. And if they win this game, they are on to the quarterfinals?
Alabama, tomorrow.
All right.
Well done. Way to keep track.
Go Gators.
That's right. All right, AJ Brown, yay or nay?
I think it's a nay. I like him as a player, but I just think for where they're at with their roster construction, I would save all my ammunition for the possibility of a world where something happens to Josh Hines Allen or Trayvon Walker, because they just have nothing behind them, in my opinion. Well, certainly nothing that's established.
Right. Yeah.
They've got, Strigow, Green, and then you've got a mid and late, pick from this draft.
Yeah.
So, I would sign a veteran edge like a Von Miller, somebody like that, now, but I wouldn't give away any massive asset, which obviously you'd have to do in an A.J. Brown deal. I think the receiver position also isn't a weakness. Certainly adding A.J. Brown makes it better, don't get me wrong, but that's more like turning it into a glut than it is to me like solving a problem. I just think that they are in awful shape if something happens to either one of those edge guys. So I would, limited cap space. I would wait and get to the deadline and make sure that I can plug whatever massive hole that's been created through attrition occurs. So I'm out on it, but I like A.J. Brown, but it's not the right fit, I don't think, here.
I don't think people realize Von Miller had 9 sacks last year.
Yeah, he's a good player.
It's crazy to think
That would have
about.
led the Jaguars to sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, obviously he's, probably only got a year left, but
That's all we
he's
need.
still
That's all we
productive. Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So, all that coming up on the Frangie Show. Brett Hastings, I think, is going to join us to talk about the Urban Meyer loss that he took in court to the Jaguars. So that should be fun. But and we'll talk about we'll talk Wemby. Wemby plays tonight. That'll be fun, and we'll talk lots of Jags coming up on the Frangie Show.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Hayes. So that's the latest we have for you right now. Like I said, JU down 5-0. I think that was actually through 4 innings, so maybe they'll have to resume it, which would be good news, at least for JU to get back into it. And then Florida does lead 5-3 in the top of the 7th. That'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.